Presentation for the DHHL Hawai'i Island Plan Update, Round 3 Beneficiary Consultation Presentation for Kohala and Hāmākua Moku tracks. This is our agenda. Today's presentation is going to cover project overview and timeline, background information on the plan update, and land inventory and updated track maps. Overview and approach. Island plans have a 20-year time frame, meaning they're updated about every 20 years. Primary function is to look at land inventory and identify land uses. Determine priorities like what are the priority areas for homestead development, and these help with coordination within DHHL's divisions, between DHHL and its beneficiaries, as well as broader agencies. This is a DHHL planning system governed by the general plan, which is updated about every 20 years, most recently updated in 2022. Island plans, you can see, are Tier 2 plans. Regional plans focus on each island, updated about every 20 years. The last Hawaii Island plan was done in 2002 with an amendment for West Hawaii lands that were added on after 2002. Those were captured in a 2009 West Hawaii amendment to the island plan. Pause here if you want more information or to visit the QR code. Also, if you want more information about the 2022 update to the general plan. Here's a project schedule. We're here at meeting number 3. Next steps are a comment period to put out a draft, the full draft, and take it to the commission. Also receive beneficiary comments on that, put together a final, and take it to the commission for adoption. Pause for more information about the process. Pause for more information about incorporating beneficiary knowledge. Here is all of the track maps and location on Hawaii Island, as well as the various Moku. The land designations, land use designations shown here are actually the ones that were previously assigned in the 2002 and or 2009 amendment. We'll be updating those through this process. Some of the lands were either not a part of the land inventory or were not designated back in that time, and so those are shown in brown. What are land use designations? It's DHHL's version of zoning. So there are two primary categories. Either lands are suitable for homesteading, in which they're identified as a homesteading use, and if for some reason they're not suitable for homesteading, then we identify what they are suitable for, and those are non-homesteading uses. Of our homesteading uses, these are all of the uses listed. At the top in yellow is residential. Residential lots are lots that are awarded to those on the residential wait list. These lots must have a home on them and can be no more than 1 acre in size. Subsistence agriculture, small lot agriculture. These lots are awarded to applicants on the agricultural wait list. These lots are no more than 3 acres. They require you to cultivate, but there is no metric on how much you must cultivate. You also can put a home on it, but you don't have to, and you do not have to have an agricultural plan in order to be in compliance for this lot. Next is supplemental agriculture. Large lot agriculture, up to 40 acres, so anything from 3 acres to 40 acres. In order to be in compliance, you have to do an agricultural plan, so a farm plan or a business plan. You must cultivate at least 2/3 of the usable acreage must be in cultivation in order to be in compliance. You may build a home, you're not required to build a home. Next is pastoral. Large lot agriculture, specifically for pastoral use. These areas require, these lots in order to be in compliance, must have a ranch plan, must have fencing as well. And they pull from the pastoral wait list. And DHHL Kohala, these are raw without infrastructure lots intended for off-grid subsistence lifestyles. They can pull from any of the wait lists. That's determined through a settlement plan for that specific homestead as it's being designed and developed. Kohala homesteading is a newer category, and examples of it can be seen in King's Landing on Hawaii Island or Kaikinui on Maui. Now, non-homesteading uses. Pause to read more. I want to just identify renewable energy. So based on beneficiary comments, no lands on Hawaii Island are being proposed for renewable energy land use designation. Okay, we're not identifying any lands and placing them into a renewable energy category. Next below it is stewardship. Okay, stewardship. is a new category. It replaces the old category of general agriculture. General agriculture as a category was done away with when we updated the 2022 general plan. The reason why we did that was based off of beneficiary feedback. Two things. One, general agriculture as a title implies that it's usable for agriculture, which is not always the case. There are lands in Kona that were under general agriculture that are just lava and have no soil, and also no access to water. Additionally, general agriculture, a lot of folks felt like that was homesteading use, but in fact, general agriculture as a category lives in the non-homesteading uses. And so we have replaced that with stewardship. Stewardship meaning, could these lands be used for homesteading? Possibly. There's something that's keeping us from being able to do that. Maybe it's too remote. Maybe there's no water available or other types of challenges. But we know that it needs an interim use and it needs to be stewarded in the interim until we can figure out other opportunities for the lands that's like a higher and better use, which the highest and best use is for homesteading. Now's where you get into your feedback. So I'm going to be covering the different tract areas. I'll be showing you 3 maps. First map is from 2002 Hawaii Island Plan with those designations. The second map is what we brought out in April for round 2 beneficiary consultation, which you folks commented on, and we revised to create the third map. So that's the round 3 tract maps, which has the most recent modifications, which are open for you folks to comment on. Starting in Kauai High. Kauai High has quite a bit of acreage, over 10,000 acres. In 2002, the bulk of the area was actually in general agriculture. All the yellow is residential, quite a bit of commercial and industrial, as well as community spaces. In round 2, when we came out, we had identified the area Mauka of Kohala Mountain Road be put into pastoral homesteading. We also account for the existing 300-acre pastoral homestead that is Mauka of Kohala Mountain Road. 273-acre area, just Makai of Kohala Mountain Road, was identified as a good location for agricultural homesteading, specifically subsistence agriculture. Most of the lands below Kohala Mountain Road are put into brown for stewardship. They were previously general agriculture. These areas are could be suitable for homesteading in the future, but not currently. The land and the area doesn't have the capacity to handle that amount of homesteading at this point. And the area is a high wildfire risk. So it must be stewarded in order to maintain the fuel loads and lower the vulnerability to wildfire. In the insets, you can see that 300 acres that's carved out for an existing pastoral homestead. And then you can see the areas along the coastline. The area that's Makai of Kailapa Homestead is suggested to be in special district, as well as the area Makai of the Kaihai Makai homesteads, residential homesteads. The big gulches, Honokua gulches, and the other gulches, including 3 acres above the 2 residential lots along Kauai High Road, Mauka of the harbor. Those are all put into conservation because they are floodways, waterways that need to be maintained. Now, the changes that you see between round 2 and round 3 mostly focuses in the Mauka area, just below Kohala Mountain Road. In past beneficiary consultation, folks said they wanted an opportunity to have accelerated homesteading in the Mauka area below Kohala Mountain Road. So 372 acres was identified for DHHL Kuleana homesteading. A Kuleana settlement plan would need to be conducted for that area and the adjacent agricultural area to determine what type of homesteading would be taking place there. Upolu Point, 37.4 acres previously put in special district. Kept it in, for round 2, kept it in community use because there's a land use designation for stewardship of this area by a community group. No change between round 2 and round 3. There's a tract in Kohala Moku called Hawaii, Almost all of it, except for about 1 acre, is all in pastoral homesteading according to the 2002 plan. It's under a homestead designation with the exception of that 1 acre area. We are identifying that area potentially for community agriculture. So we need feedback on that 1 acre sliver and what's the best use for that area. In Keoniki, approximately 230 acres put into pastoral homesteading. No change for the land use designation, though we did identify areas that were potentially vacant. We adjusted that based on confirmation of what areas are and are not vacant for round 3. So the hatched area is under land use designation. The unhatched area is currently vacant lands. Lalamilo, previously identified for residential, community uses, industrial, commercial. As we brought it out in round 2, we had identified some industrial and community use spaces, some conservation or preserved spaces, special district along the waterway. We account for the existing homesteads that have already been awarded, and then the areas that where the infrastructure is put in currently. No significant changes, just putting floodway areas into special district and accounting for areas that need to be in conservation for preservation uses. Next, we have Pu'ukapu. This is a very large area, almost 12,000 acres. In the 2002 plan, it was mostly general agriculture, pastoral agriculture, conservation, and special district. For round 2, you can see all the areas that are under pastoral homesteading, which is the majority. Special district, there were some areas where we were asking folks to weigh in. Should it be this use or that use? Pause to kind of read more. The significant changes are the areas where we asked folks to weigh in. We mostly heard they wanted it in community use. So those are added to community use spaces. We also increased and improved the hatching to cover all the areas that are actually awarded and are not vacant lots. Kamoku and Kapulana, this area is east of Pu'ukapu Pastoral in the Hāmākua Moku, mostly for pastoral use and one area for general agriculture. When we came out in round 2, kept it pretty much the same, though we did ask, should that upper area that was previously in general agriculture be in conservation or should it be in stewardship? Most folks said conservation, so we identified those areas in conservation, and all of the pastoral homestead areas look to be awarded out. Then we have a large area in between that, Waikoloa and Wai'ale'ale tracts, all in pastoral homesteading. Brought it out in round 2, same thing. We updated to show all the hatched area with the places that have been awarded out and kept it all in pastoral homesteading. Next, we have Honoka'i'a, previously identified for residential, commercial, and community use, subsistence agriculture, and pastoral agriculture. When we came for round 2, we were still trying to understand which areas are leased out and which areas are not leased out. Some of the areas that were previously in subsistence agriculture were actually awarded for pastoral use. We striped some areas asking what type of homesteading should they be, paused to read more and determine more. Based on the feedback that we got, the area, the 93-acre parcel north of Mamaaloa Highway, identified for pastoral homesteading. About 179 acres identified for residential homesteading, and 145 acres identified for subsistence agriculture, and then updated the lots that are vacant or currently not awarded. For Nianie, most of it was in pastoral, except for about 900 acres in general agriculture. When we came out previously, most of it's all in pastoral, but we striped to see should that upper portion along the forest reserve be conservation or stewardship. Most folks said conservation. And so that's the change for round 3. Then we have Waimanu, previously 200 acres identified for conservation. We've kept that the same, no change from round 2 to round 3. Then we have lands in Honokaia, recently acquired using Act 279 funding, proposed residential use of the lands. When we came out for round 2, there was some residential, some floodway, captured in special district, a small area for subsistence agriculture, and then an area for community use. Based on the plans for that area, it's been updated to almost all residential, including a small floodway area. And then we did stripe it, the 7 acres, to see, do you folks, what type of homesteading? Do you want more residential, or do you want subsistence agricultural opportunities in that area? Next, we have our Ainamana Legacy lands. This is Upper Pi'ihonua, over 7,000 acres, previously in general agriculture. The other lands in Humu'ula, almost 50,000 acres, mostly in general agriculture, conservation, pastoral homesteading, and special district, with some areas in commercial and community use. When we came out in round 2, there were 2 sections added to DHHL Kuleana homesteading. The off-grid raw without infrastructure as a response to beneficiary requests to accelerate homestead lot awarding in that area. We also capture the Gorse area in special district, a little over 5,000 acres, as well as along Daniel K. Inouye Highway, about 665 acres is all lava flow. Folks had asked that that be carved out of the homesteading area. And then there's about 20 acres identified for commercial and 27 acres identified for special district along the Alakupuna. There were some changes for round 3. The special district area, again, all along Daniel K. Inouye Highway, is all capturing spaces that are covered with lava flow, so they can be carved out of homesteading. And then folks said they didn't want red commercial. They wanted it to be community use, and they're not opposed to potential commercial uses, but that it should be a community commercial. And then we really looked at all of the lands under conservation to see which of those lands actually should be converted to stewardship, because the uses that are proposed in those areas, according to the Ainamana Legacy Plan and according to this suitability analysis, go beyond just conservation uses. So sustainable koa forestry, potential for future homesteading, and that's why those areas have been placed into brown under stewardship. Okay, what's the next steps? Comment period. So please go to the website. Please participate in the comment period. Next steps after this, we'll be taking the full draft to the commission so that they can review and comment. We'll be putting that draft online so you folks can review and comment. We'll take all of those comments. We'll do the final version of the plan and take it to the commission for adoption. Mahalo.